Cool. So for this one, I think we've done quite a few sort of beat-oriented, more active ones the last couple of sketches. So I'm thinking for this one, we'll try something a little more mellow, a little more melodic and chill. So I guess that would mean an ambient type of piece. As always, I like to start with an operator, but you'll probably have your own way of starting. Some people probably want to start with beats or just doing a texture. I find somehow starting with an operator is it's easy for some reason for me. I've been doing it. Hello, doing it so much that yeah, I guess it makes sense. I'm just gonna play with a few of these pad presets. Hey, so there's actually some pretty decent starting points in just the factory presets. This one's got an interesting distortion in it that I'm not really too fond of. Maybe it's this pedal, yeah. All right, I think I'm gonna play with this sort of majorish type of chord. Easy enough. Sometimes that's all it takes is 4 notes. We could build around this. And evolve it a little bit. We can really do anything we want. Let's go ahead and I'm going to turn this count in off. I see. That's a little bit too, I don't know, bright and edgy and but I do like a slow modulation or automation of an EQ or frequency on a filter. It's really kind of like a trite, cliched, classic move, but oftentimes it sounds really nice. It's there's a familiarity to it, and there's definitely something to be said for trying to infuse a little familiarity in with your works to help people connect with that. There's nothing wrong with people connecting to your works of art. Honestly, I think that's probably what motivates a lot of people in the beginning, is creating stuff that helps others connect and feel akin. I'm just talking out my arse at this point. So let's get some happy delay on there. Yes, Spirit of Bob Ross in the house always. And I love a bit of slow modulation on the delay time. All right, we're done. That's it. We'll just loop this for 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Call it a day. Cheapo ambient. There we go. Let's make it rhyme. Now. That clicky. Yes, I bet that's the wet and dry of the grain delay that we're modulating there with this macro knob. Yep. Sometimes you want the clicks, you want the digital grit in there. Frankly, to me, it's a bit disruptive in this context, in a lot of contexts. Sometimes it's nice to have just like a lot of empty space. Now let's spread this one out and have a big long section that doesn't have any of this modulation business here. Maybe we'll pull the wet dry down just a bit on that. Yeah, I think that works. I don't oftentimes start with the presets, but right now I'm just feeling like doing something a little off the beaten path of the way I normally do things. Alright, so we are definitely going to tone this one down quite a bit. Some people love to use presets unabashedly, and I think if you're working on a deadline, sometimes you just got to. And by unabashedly, I mean not making any changes to the preset whatsoever. My policy is, well, as long as you run it through a bunch of effects, it doesn't matter if you don't change the initial preset, as long as the end sound is something unique. And oftentimes a preset in with a whole bunch of other sounds together, you won't recognize the actual preset. So that it works also to do it that way. But I wouldn't dare ever tell anybody to not use presets, or I mean, if it works for you, then it's awesome. We all have to like make our own path and do our own thing and not worry about what other people are doing. So let's mute that and maybe just try out our auto filter there. I still feel like it's a little too bright and in your face, so let's try pitching it down an octave. This is good, like drone flyover footage music. And definitely maybe, I think some more attack could really feel good here. It's getting there. There we go. So I like this more subdued. You know, brighter sounds can be a bit jarring. So this preset right out of the box was just too much to handle for what we're going for here. And for something I'm thinking a lot more creamy, a lot more smooth. Smooth ambient. All right. A bit of a shoegazery kind of feel going on so far. All right, let's give this one a go. All right, I think that's cool. Let's rein this loop in. And looks like a skipping stone adds some delay. Thinking some slow modulation on this filter is going to sound nice. Just let it open up a little bit and breathe. Gosh, if we're not making some cheesy yoga relaxation meditation music that you'll find in a Walmart near you in the relaxation CD section, I don't know what we're doing then. Hey, no shame, no shame. People need to relax. People need to chill. It's good to make music for those purposes. Very intentful and healing. Can't knock that. Not in this day and age, not in this society, in this world that's so crazy and full of electromagnetic frequencies and stress and too much pressure to perform. Yeah, people need outlets to just slow down. I guess that's what I'm doing with this sketch. I'm making a piece that's helping me slow down because gosh knows I work way too much. It's fun to do sketches that are a lot more, forceful, a bit more aggressive, a bit more intense and energetic. And on the other side of the coin, it's good to do ones that are the opposite of that. Just mix it up, switch it up. Okay, cool. We are going to call this Slow the Fuck Down, people. Let's just say world. Slow the Fuck Down world effects. Nice. Definitely fitting for this texture, the surface of some iridescent object, surface video. It's like some kind of crystal microscope imagery. Hard to say. And if we wanted to add in a bit of a pulse or rhythm, I think that wouldn't hurt. Here we go. There's our beat drop, our bass drop. Gotta have that bass. It does sound nice sometimes when all the layers, all the frequency ranges are filled out. But in this case, without the bass, it also feels really nice. I think part of these sketches for me is like pushing myself to try and create a filled out sounding piece, but maybe I should leave the bass out. That is a really, really tough call. I'm going to pull out, I'm going to do something bizarre that we've done before, but pull out this velocity, and I'm going to see if it's odd when I strike a key, then I'm going to not use the bass. If it's even, I'm going to use the bass. What is that? 56, 55, 54, 53 maybe? Aye. 53, so no bass then. All right. It's fun to use chance to get yourself making decisions based off of some force of chaos that is out of your control. We've almost got a bit of a piece like the artist Loscil, who was one of my favorite artists around the early mid 2000s. I love the rhythmic ambience. I think he got really well known for that rhythm, sometimes percussive. Let's try a bit more rhythm. This is a very delightful, pretty piece. Not the most, what's the word? Not the most innovative. Sometimes, you gotta just say, fuck you to capitalism and do something not innovative. Isn't that just the pressure, the capitalistic pressure? You must create something amazing and perform. You must leave something behind. I think that just is a basic human ego thing we do. All right, let's get some white noise in. Let me just shut up for a second and actually do something useful. High pass, I think, would be nice. Make this a little more tonal, clicky, yeah. And I think we will have a bit of a kick. I mean, I guess it's not really a bass line, so that's okay. And now that I'm thinking, maybe we should add in some kind of bass pulse. Very loscil inspired. His sound was so simple though. I'm surprised there wasn't, and maybe there were quite a few knockoff artists doing stuff like that, but I didn't run across too many. Need to get these in with some kind of reverb. Let's pull in our trusty old crappy fake verb. Probably time to make a few new impulse responses. I do like that bass kind of so let's play with that. I guess we should, yeah, let's give ourselves more runway there. And I'm going to keep it somewhat locked to the beat. Spread this out some. We need some sort of almost rhythmic, melodic tonal bit. I want to somehow bring up the clickiness of this, and I don't think it'll be hard to do with a high shelf. And let's go ahead and sweep this with an automation curve. Very much like reminding me of the loscil Submers album, which is, if you haven't heard that album, I highly recommend it. It sounds obviously way better than what I'm doing in this sketch, but it's very much in line with this kind of rhythmic, slowly evolving kind of stuff, sound, ambience. almost sounds like these are not perfectly timed, but maybe I'm just hearing things. So let's see, which one is there? Yep, this one. Let's take a sidechain from our beat group. And I feel like we should put a reverb after this. Let's try to dampen this thing up just a bit more. Very dreamy sounding. Now I kind of want to hear what some crazy grain delay might sound like. Let's pitch it down an octave. I do like that. That really is just like taking the lights in a room just down a notch. Really smooths things out. Makes the experience much more smooth. We need more, more high-end reverb. I think that our homemade impulse response is a little dark. In terms, it doesn't have a lot of high-end information. And I think a lot of that is because I converted this to 22 kilohertz. No, maybe 11.25 or something. And we definitely lost a bit of I guess this kind of took our kick down a notch. Also this. Almost like a snappy snare playing with this transient. More mellowed out. I mean, I didn't mind the other tempo, to be honest. As I'm doing sketches, I do oftentimes want to make, as you've noticed, some global changes that are a bit large and wild and change the piece kind of dramatically. Sometimes I do that and it helps me realize that, okay, here's things that I need to fix about it. It's like a technique that I was taught when I was in college studying painting. My teacher said, you know what, sometimes you need to hold your painting up to a mirror or your drawing or whatever and look at it and study it in reverse, or look at it upside down and you will see things that are wrong and off, things you need to fix. And I do think the same principle applies to producing music, where, you know, if you slow a piece down a lot, you can sort of hear things that could maybe change, or maybe you'll get new ideas of things to do. All right, so I'm hearing now a bit of texture. Really going operator heavy today, but that's okay. For certain purposes, operator really is awesome and does the trick. No shame in keeping it simple. I'm thinking like a technique we did in one of the previous sketches. Let's see. Crackles. We'll start with Crackles. We'll see if we can. Like that. It's like distant popcorns. Almost has a rhythm of its own, and certainly if we add this tremolo in here and we sync it to the beat, funny how that works. All right, let's get a little stereo going on the Crackles. Definitely put this in our beat group. Calming piece, and it's just lulling me right with it going on in the background. I could listen to stuff like this for a while. Could read to this, could sit in a hot tub to this, could do all kinds of super mellow stuff to this. Such a simple beat, but I think for this style of music, that's all we need. We don't need something super crazy and show-offy. We can just, you know, keep it chill. Now, where am I going? Let's try some of these, maybe some audio racks. Before we do that, I think I am hearing a need for more high end on these Crackles. Sometimes I do like glitches in certain contexts. I mean, essentially that's what these Crackles are. They're very kind of glitch styled sounds. Try a lo-fi. Actually, let's just try the lo-fi on the whole piece. That does make me feel like a warp flubber would be nice on the melody, or yeah. Alright, cool. Pretty much just about done. I mean, 34 minutes, not too shabby. Making this kind of creamy, simple ambient music is really, you know, you could sit here and deliberate on each of these sounds for hours and hours, but honestly, I don't think that's really necessary in a lot of cases. That is not for this piece. Very lo-fi sounding. This, just the way it looks like some really old piece of hardware I would absolutely love to have with a dial knob like this. I do like audio filter stuff. They, you know, when added in using the Ableton effects by themselves, you know, the sound is, I think the tonal quality, I guess the micro qualities of saturation and distortion, it's really limited with just the built-in Ableton stuff. You gotta bring in some saturators done by the masters, like softube. Oh my goodness. Some of my most favoritist of sounds. Tones, so nice. And this one is a freebie, I believe. You can definitely get some really extreme distortions out of it. Let's try this on the beat also. I don't think we want that much on the melody. Just like keep low. But maybe the saturation on the Crackles could be nice. Which adds a nice edge to it. Also try a multi-band dynamics and just get the bass a little more tamed. It's really subtle, but I do think adding some of this softube saturation and some third-party, you know, plugins from several different third parties can, I think, really add a lot of subtle sonic variety that ultimately ends up with like a certain sound and unique tonal thumbprint. And that's, I think, one really good way to create your own sound is to have a good combination of plugins by various developers. You know, I've been trying to use mostly the Ableton instruments and effects kind of for my own learning purposes and just to keep things simple, but also so that these projects can be easily opened by anybody. And plus, it's just a nice set of constraints just to have these only. I mean, as you can see here, I've got, you know, more, at least on this computer. On some other computers, I have, you know, triple or quadruple the amount of plugins here, just because I love to collect them. I mean, collecting is obviously a fun thing to do, but oh, now these are some really decent sounding saturations, and they are free and obviously broken. Yeah, this one is an intense distortion. And what we can do to really only get the super subtlest of. So we could run like minus 24 through there and then boost 24 out. Yeah, this plugin might be a little sad. And I feel like it definitely lost some bass through it. Whoops. And some other good ones are the let's see, I really like the Analog Obsession, the Brit ones. These are currently not free, but they are, you can get them via Patreon, so you could pay $5 and get all of these plugins, essentially. He's got like 3 different tiers of plugins or patron support, but you get a lot of plugins potentially. It unlocks, you know, when you pay whatever, even the smallest amount. I think that you get the same amount of plugins no matter how much you want to support. I mean, some of these are pretty buggy, not gonna lie. Or they're just CPU hogs, but some of the newer ones, like these Brit channel ones, they just sound really nice. I almost don't mind sending a whole mix through them. They're probably better suited, you know, on individual tracks. I do feel like when you put these, you know, channel plugins right on the end, you know, more like a master chain, it's best to keep the settings pretty subtle, like 1 to 3 decibels max. Let's try to pull some of this. Here we will just have this multi-band dynamics on our kick. I want to tame just the kick bass coming out of the drum. There we go. I think that's a little more. Subtle what this Brit channel is doing right now, but if you really want to take a plugin for a spin and see what kind of, I guess hear what kind of saturation it has built in, then it's good to drop some utilities before and after it, and pull the one after it down first. We'll do minus 60. You can hear the distortion kind of in its fullest. And not bad, honestly. Let's try the oversampling. I can't tell much of a difference there, but perhaps when rendering. I know that oversampling really works well with saturations, from what I've studied and learned. We obviously don't want this much distortion, but it's interesting to note that you can use saturation as a kind of distortion effect. All right, let's get rid of these. enough tomfoolery. I really do hate this thing with Ableton. If you've got a bunch of plugins open and you shut the most recent one via this X, it makes them all disappear. Where'd they all go? What the hell? And then you can hit this one again and they all come back. The only workaround I have found is before closing the topmost one, you just click on another one. What a weird little bug. Cool. All right, so I think I'm good to go on this sketch. I like that we got to play with some new nice plugins. Definitely recommend getting this softube saturation one knobber and look into the Analog Obsession line. Some real nice sounding saturations from both of these companies. And of course, our tried and true audio thing, wherever that went. Filterjam, yeah, and I am just, for the record, not getting paid by or endorsed or given free plugins from any of these companies. I just love to explore different plugins and combine different, and recipe building, in other words. And so when I find good ones that I really like, and trust me, I have tried thousands and thousands of them, and most are pretty garbagey, digital sounding, but these softube, audio thing, Analog Obsession, Fuse Audio Labs, they all sound fairly really nice, warm character. They respond very somewhat organically, and usually the knobs sound pretty nice. No, not too many clicks. Analog Obsession, I don't think he has so much of that. He might, in some of his newer ones, have gotten rid of the clicks. His older ones were definitely really digitally sounding when you'd move. I think they behave a lot better these days. So anyway, yeah, there it goes. There they all go. We'll just let this play out for a minute or so, and then until next time, keep it weird, or not. In this case, keep it chill.